All right, scouts, gather around the campfire and listen closely. I'm going to read you a letter exactly as it was written over 260 years ago. This letter is from a man named Timothy Fitch, sent to Captain Peter Gwinn on January 12th, 1760. It gives a chilling glimpse into the realities of the slave trade during that time. Capt. Peter Gwinn, Boston, 12th of January 1760. Sir, you having command of my schooner Phyllis, your orders are to embrace the first favorable opportunity of wind and weather and proceed directly for the coast of Africa, touching first at Senegal if you fall in with it. On your arrival there, come to anchor with your vessel and go up to the factory in your boat and see if you can part with any of your cargo to advantage. If you can, so as at least to double upon the cost or better, then you may sell what part you can and take prime slaves for pay if reasonable or cash. But they must not cull your cargo unless they give you a good price. If you could sell the whole of your cargo there to a good profit and take slaves and cash and come directly home, that would shorten the voyage much. But this is not very likely to be the case. Must spend as little time as possible at Senegal and then proceed down the coast to Sierra Leone and then make the best trade you can from place to place till you have disposed of all your cargo and purchased your complete cargo of young slaves, which I suppose will be about 70 or 80 more or less. I would recommend to you going to the Isle Delos if you can't finish Cerulean. Take none but healthy slaves and be very careful in examining them. And be sure to bring as few women and girls as possible. Wherever you lay with your schooner, be sure to lay so as to be secure from any of the enemy's vessels that may be going up or down the coast. You must observe your vessel's bottom is bare of stuff and wants graving. Be sure to grave her the very first opportunity you have and keep her bottom well paid with stuff as often as you can to keep her from the worms. You have a very fine cargo and well sorted to command the trade. Every article is of the very best, therefore hope you won't be detained upon the coast longer than the 1st of May by any means. The consequence you know we have experienced to be bad. You and your people and slaves will get sick, which will ruin the voyage. Whatever you have left upon hand after April, sell it altogether for what you can get, if even at the first cost, rather than tarry any longer. Though your cargo is so well sorted that I make no doubt you'll be able to sell it all before that time, and to a good profit. Be constantly upon your guard night and day, and keep good watch that you may not be cut off by your own slaves, though never so few on board, or that you are not taken by surprise by boats from the shore, which has often been the case. Let your slaves be well looked after properly and carefully tended, kept in action by playing upon deck, a full tended in the half-deck. And by all means keep up their spirits, and when you come off the coasts bring off a full allowance of rice and water for a 10 weeks' passage. Upon this, your voyage depends in a great measure. You'll see by Captain Ellery's book, which I deliver you, that Messrs. Wallace and Ord owe me 290 bars, which I make no doubt, but they will have honour enough to pay you. And if you can get anything from Captain Rand, do. I have written to them by you and all Captain Ellery's friends, which I make no doubt will assist you. Keep a good account of all your trade. You have Captain Ellery's book for your guide and sketch of what I think is the lowest you will sell your cargo at. What Captain Ellery sold at the worst of times, by which you'll see you have more cargo than sufficient to purchase your cargo, unless some accident happens. If you have anything left upon hand after you are fully slaved and riced, sell it for what it will fetch for camwood, wax, leather, or anything else, rather than bring it home. On your passage homeward, if you find the wind favours you more to go to Cape Leon than to come here, you may go there and apply to my friend Captain R. Quince, who will assist you in the sale of your cargo. But then I would take nothing there for slaves but gold and silver, and after you have sold as many as you can for cash, if any left on hand, bring them with you home to Boston. This is only in case you can make a shorter passage than coming to Boston. If you go there, you'll find letters lodged with Mr. Quince for your government. There is one thing I must impress upon your mind. By no means fail writing me by every opportunity to any part of the continent, to any or all the islands in the West Indies, by way of Tenerife, or any of the islands, or even via Europe, Bristol, or Liverpool. You may frequently have opportunities, and be sure to write as often as opportunity presents. Supposing it was 10 times in a day, out of which it may be that one of 2 may possibly reach me. Letters are in wartime especially of very great service in governing respecting insurance. This is what I recommend and by no means would have you omit. Make no debts and mind you are not overreached in trade, giving the preference of your cargo to Dr. Clow and others that you know to be responsible men, provided they will give you as much as another. You must tack one article with another and make that is the demand sell that lay upon hand where you can light of a number of likely slaves to be sold in a lot. Don't part for a trifle, for such will give you dispatch, which is all you must look and aim at. Small presents properly bestowed upon Clowdowdle and such men as can be of service to you is no loss. You may gain 5% in the gauge of your rum between Gunter and Rod. By all means, I recommend industry, frugality and dispatch, which will recommend you to further business. Your wages is £3.10 per month, 3 slaves' privilege and 3% out of the cargo of slaves delivered at Boston. This is all you are to have. I remain with wishing you a good voyage, health and success, and am your friend and owner, Timothy Fitch PS. Endeavour to get as few slaves as you can with their sewed navel, which is a hurt to the sail here. If you should by any accident put into any port upon the continent homeward bound, you may sell as many slaves as you can for a good price and ready pay, and be sure to advise me. Every man has got his month's pay. What rum or anything else you dittoed is coast price. Your signal when you come in will be your jack at 4 topmast head. Timothy Fitch to Capt. Gwinn, letter of withstanding, Jan 4, 1760. This letter gives us a stark and detailed look into the harsh and inhumane reality of the slave trade. It's important to remember these stories and the people who suffered through such times so we can learn from the past and strive for a more just and compassionate world.